Okay, so what were you doing before CTP?
Before CTP, I was doing a lot of contract work as an accountant. My degree is in that. I have an AS in accounting. However, how I had begun to notice that most of the contract roles I was working were just short-term contracts, and I really wanted something more permanent. So um, and then the pandemic happened, and a lot of the accounting roles, like the in-person accounting roles, dried up for that period. So I started to look for something new.
How was your time in training and what did you learn?
I really enjoyed my time in training. It was very helpful in building up my confidence and skills. A lot of a lot of the skills I learned in networking and talking to people and doing the mock interviews really helped me build up my confidence in talking and preparing for companies and learning how to do company research. So I was very prepared in talking to the actual interviewers, and I also learned a lot about computers and how to use them, and how to connect to them remotely and add users using different programs, and also how to diagnose issues because I'm really into computers, and so switching to the IT world was really interesting for me.
How was the job search process for you?
This The job search process was both stressful and exciting. It was stressful because during the pandemic, it was a lot harder to find roles that were remote, because a lot of the in-person roles kept removing their listings because during that time it wasn't really advised being in person. So finding a remote role was a lot harder, and it was very exciting because I was starting a job search in a new field that I was interested in the IT world. So I was very excited to put the skills I have learned to use and to learn more on the job.
How did you keep yourself motivated in the job search?
It was hard to keep myself motivated during the job search, mainly because it was during the pandemic. It was taking a lot longer than I feel it would normally have taken to find a new role. So it had gotten a little down on like how long it was taking me to land that new position. But I was able to keep myself motivated by taking breaks, and by taking breaks during my job search, but also making a schedule and using the skills I learned from CTP and having an Excel spreadsheet with like when you like with the day you apply for the job, plus the plus when you send them the follow-up email and when you hear back from them. Having that list was very helpful, and it also helped to speak to your family and friends, to my family and friends during that time, to keep me motivated.
How many jobs did you apply for before accepting one?
So I applied to about 100 to 200 jobs during my job search. I think maybe even more. I lost the original sheet I was using, but I had to apply to a lot of them because even like though you might think, oh, just applying to a few jobs, you you're a lot less likely to hear back from them. So applying to a lot of jobs, you cast a wide net, and I learned that from CTP. So doing that and having like a sheet that catalogs when you talk to them, when you heard back from them, and if there's like setting an interview date, like having that like all lined up is very helpful. So and what really helped me is having follow-up emails, especially when you're talking to a recruiter, because sometimes they forget, like not purposely, but they sometimes forget, and having a reminder to them really helps them.
What are you currently doing?
So right now I'm currently working as a hardware support technician for Estrella, which is a company that I work for them full time, but they're a company that contracts you out to different companies. So I work for Google through Estrella, and so I do a lot of mainly my role is centered around sending devices to other Googlers and making sure it has the right data and information on it. And that's what I do during the day. But during like my personal time, I'm trying to learn a lot more programming, like mainly C++, in order to get into video games because I want to get into that industry. That's what I do in my personal time.
What advice would you give to participants who are just beginning the job search?
The advice that I would give is to be patient. Um, it might seem like it's taking a long time to hear back from a company, but being patient with them and emailing them, like providing follow-ups, is what I would advise, because even for me when I was doing my job search, it felt like it was taking them forever to get back to you. But sometimes it does, but sometimes they do get back to you when you get like an interview with them. So being patient. And I would also advise applying to as many jobs as you can, but only when you get your job offers, only commit to the job that you feel comfortable with and that their values match with your values. You don't want to just take the first job that comes to you. You want to make sure the job is right for you.